Hey, all, my name's Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. We just finished our episode with Mr. Dave Schaumburg.
That's right. The Big Dave. He was
Big Daddy D.
Big Daddy D. He was here today. Graced his presence. It was great, man. He had some unexpectedly hilarious stories.
Yes. For a guy who is relatively quiet, but also... Actually, just forget relatively quiet. It was just hilarious.
Not emotional.
Yeah, not emotional, but god dang, just really good stories from start to finish. So we had a blast with this one.
We did.
Some very weak dad jokes, but other than that, it was a really good episode.
You'll have those. We're
going to have those off weeks. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Decent Dads podcast.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. Messed it up again. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Doing well. Did you forget what you did for a living there?
My introduction was weak sauce.
You're an insurance agent.
Yeah, I got the first word. I just couldn't get the agent part of it. Apparently,
it's a big word. I get it. But no, it's a good day for good day boys. Mm-hmm. We got our hoppy coffee here. So
it's a little less hoppy today.
I know, for some reason.
It's a little more grainy.
Yeah.
What goes into...
Like the cold brew?
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Cold brew.
Very
now you're talking.
Cold brewed coffee. But no, we got a great guest today.
Yeah, we
do. Dave Schaumburg. So Dave, I think I've known you for probably about a year now.
Big Daddy D.
Yeah.
Big Daddy D. That's what you're going to be referred to
nope,
from now
no,
on.
Not. That's the first and only time you're going to hear that out of me. That's it.
Keep it going.
Yeah,
Let's go viral.
But I think Bryant's known you a little bit longer. But obviously, a lot of our guest listeners probably don't know you. So if you will, tell us, who you are, what you do for a living, give us your dad resume, tell us, how many kids you got, what are their ages, which one's your favorite, just kind of go from there.
All that stuff.
Sure.
And pull that thing in close if you don't mind. I don't want it to get too far away.
I got it.
Perfect.
All right. So, Dave Schaumburg. Currently, I'm in the aviation field. I'm the assistant director for the airport here in Springfield.
Yeah.
Only
person I know that works in aviation. I think you're the only person I've ever met that works in aviation.
So your favorite guy.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite guy in aviation. Exactly.
I
know one pilot.
What's that?
I said I know one pilot. Never mind. I stand corrected.
Would you let him finish?
Sorry,
please.
I'm a pilot as well. Been here in Springfield for since 2017 from mid-Missouri, like the Ozarks. Went to college down in Branson at C of O, and did the aviation program down there.
Hard work, you.
Yeah. And went back to the lake after I graduated college. Met a pretty little girl on the gas dock.
That's great.
Were you both working there? I can't remember the story. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah. And she talked me out of jumping into the military, and here we are 14 years later of marriage. Got a couple kids out of the deal too.
Nice.
So 5 years into the marriage, we had our first child, Brennan, and she's 10. And then 5 years later, had a little boy, Ridge McCoy.
I love it.
Ridge McCoy.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Brennan and Ridge. Yeah, those are good. Those are good names. I love that. Well, and the gas dog thing. I think I knew that story. The summer gas dog romance was the sun was beaten down and the gas fumes were heavy for her to stick with you. But I get it. We're glad she kept you around, I guess, is the easiest way to say that.
I feel like that's every high school, college kid's dream over the summer, meeting a cute girl on the gas dock or on the dock.
Rocking the bikini,
Yeah,
there you
must have been terrible. You must have hated that.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Look at Dave, just living the dream. Good for you, man. Good for you.
So some of the things I take away from that: one, hard work. So you you did all your hard work early in life, and now you're just coasting. Is that the idea?
Coasting, yeah.
Got it. What was your on-campus job?
Man, I did a little bit of everything. I started in construction, working heating and air. Worked in
Wait, really?
That's a thing. Yeah.
Did you have like a fridge certificate or something to be able to do that? How does one do HVAC as like a early college student?
No. I mean, shout out to C of O. They not only help make sure you don't rack up a whole bunch of student debt.
Yeah.
But, they also just find some other skills that you can build while you're there. And typically a freshman ends up working in the cafeteria or something like that. And I put something random down on my dream sheet, and they put me in heating and air. Met some great friends through that. Learned a skill set I probably wouldn't do otherwise.
Sure. Yeah.
So did that for a while. Worked in the steam shop when I worked, so I could work overnight, so I could do my flight training. And then
interesting.
And then ended up transferring up to the airport, and that's kind of when I started doing. I get into college, and I think I'm gonna go be a pilot. I'm in school during 9/11. There are no flying jobs when I get out of school, but I worked off my education by working at the airport, and I was like, well, I mean, I can't find a flying job, but I like hanging out at the airport, so
perfect.
There you go.
See what else I can do.
Yeah, how great is that?
I can't do this gas stock thing forever, so although I'd like to.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I got what I needed.
It worked out pretty well for you.
I got what I needed out of that. Well, I mean, I certainly think that. I mean, again, that's kind of rarefied air. There's not a lot of people that work in your field, so it is pretty cool to get to just, frankly, listening to you speak about what you guys do at the airport in Springfield and all the different changes you make and how broad and diverse the problems that you end up having to fix are. I mean, at one point you told me you were messing with the cafeteria food all the way up to building like multi-million-dollar buildings on the campus. So it's a pretty diverse, crazy amount of stuff that you guys have to deal with out there.
Yeah, pretty dynamic. We've got an awesome airport that has so many different areas that we touch, and we're not just a commercial service airport. We're not just a general aviation airport. We've got cargo, we've got military, and just growing in every measurable area. So it keeps us busy, and it's an awesome asset for the community.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, we have a lot of people who like to fly out of there, so I get it. Speaking of difficulties, let's talk about Tantrum of the Week. I mean, that's one of our favorite segments, mostly because we all get to bitch and moan about what we're dealing with right now. So let's just get weird. DC, what do you got this week, man? What's tantrum? What was your tantrum this week?
Somebody else hear all my problems. Right?
Yeah, exactly. This is our therapy session.
Yeah. So, I think every episode I've done a Liam tantrum, right? Well, that's because Brody's, he just turned 1, so he's really been too young to have a tantrum.
Just say he's perfect. Just go ahead and say.
Well, but he busted out the tantrum.
That a boy.
Yep. So he crossed that threshold.
Yeah.
Little's learning from the big.
Yeah. Yeah. So this past week, he hasn't really been sick, but he's had like a runny nose. And so he gets a bunch of boogies there at the end of the nose, so we got to clean it off, right, so he can breathe.
Boogies.
Yeah.
You had the little suction hose.
Yeah.
Is that not vile?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
We just used it upstairs like 20 minutes ago.
My wife's a big fan of that. I'm like, I'll just get some wipes and wipe it off,
Yeah.
Remind me, I've got a story about that.
Yeah. So we have to do this, several times a day, and he absolutely hates it. So I was doing it the other day, I think probably for the first time, a few days ago. Set him on my lap, get the wipe out, and he knows what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
He just knows. And so what's he do? He goes full exorcism mode, arches the back, just screaming.
Get off of me.
Slapping the arms and everything. And I haven't even wiped his nose yet. I'm just like holding it right in front of him. I'm like, dude, chill out. So then I proceed to try to get these boogers off his nose, and he's not having it. So luckily, I have a very vast knowledge of jiu-jitsu. So I was having to put him in all these like crazy
comes in handy.
crazy holds,
Got the arm locked down.
I was putting him in the leg lock, the arm hooks, all this stuff. Finally got his nose wiped off. And the thing about Brody, like I said, he's 1. He doesn't have a 1-year-old cry. when he cries. He has like a grown man yell.
Yes.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
He has like
that's
a very
terrifying.
deep voice for a little kid.
I love it.
And so I have this grown man yelling at me, doing a full exorcism on me, and I'm just trying to wipe his damn nose. And so I'm like, dude,
Got
chill
a
out.
grown man in my lap trying to fight me.
Yeah, so that's my tantrum of the week. So if anybody needs, some jujitsu lessons or needs them to teach them how to deal with, an exorcism, I'm your guy now.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
because we have to do that 3 or 4 times a day.
I get it. Well, so the story I was going to tell you was we've got one of those baby Frida things too, the
Yep.
little weird cone with the hose on it.
Mm-hmm.
The hose is the exact same size as the hose that comes out of those electric breast pump machines. And I saw a guy
You use a lot
on
of breast
the
pumps?
internet. No, Liv
Okay,
had
just
one
checking.
for smart ass. When Liv,
working, man.
but yeah, exactly. It's really, that's how I got so beefy is all the extra milk. You guys suck. But yeah, so I saw that they had connected the baby Frida to the hose coming out of the pump, and instead of having to sit there and suck on it yourself, you just turn the pump on.
That's actually a
You
really
just
good
reach up
idea.
and poke it in the
That's your
kid's
dad
nose.
hack right
That's
there.
what I was gonna say. I mean, I've got another dad hack, but I just like, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What the hell? Why didn't we think of this? And I'm gonna go find Liv's pump like after this episode because I just saw that today. So yeah.
Nice.
What was your dad hack? Did you have anything that you thought of ahead? Excuse
Well,
me.
we're still talking tantrum.
Tantrums.
Right?
What tantrums do you have?
So I'll say on the tantrum side, like, I try to not take things too seriously, and I spend a lot of time at work. So when I come home, I just try to be fun with the kids, you know. And so I'll admit, Bliss gets the majority of the tantrums. She handles morning duty. She deals with that. So I'm struggling thinking about this. Like, man, what am I going to talk about with tantrums? Like, anytime the kids have a fit, I just laugh about it, and then I end up like I'll record it.
I'm sure
on
that
my-
goes over well with your wife too.
with the whole family. With the whole family. So,
Dave, how do you discipline your children? Oh, I take a video of them.
That's exactly what I do, and honestly, I want to keep that available.
Yeah.
And every now and again, I'll bring it out. I'm like, Bryn, you remember when you're like 3 years old? Remember this ridiculousness that you did at Dillard's? Like crawling on the floor and having a fit, But so Bliss deals with the majority of them. But
Yeah.
honestly, so tonight we came from Ridge's program at school.
Yeah.
And everything went great. We're leaving to go into the parking lot, and he's 5, so he's kind of running around doing his own thing, and he gets to the edge of the parking lot. We're yelling at him. It's dark out. And I'm like,
Sure.
dude, slow down. And he stops, and he yells at me like, I wasn't going in the parking lot. He knows to take it all the way to the edge. So he's like tiptoeing the edge of the sidewalk, right? And I'm like, all right, man, like, come with me, and I like just go to grab his hand, and just out of nowhere, and the dude's tired. He did this program. I don't think he got a nap today. And I go to grab his hand, and he goes, I don't love you.
Oh,
Have you guys had that yet?
I
Have you
haven't.
had the kids
No.
look you in the eye and
Not
just say,
yet.
I don't love you? It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will.
Buckle up for
Yeah,
it.
that's gotta hurt.
It's a heart wrencher
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
tough.
And I'm like, dude, don't say that. That's not kind, man.
Yeah.
And-
Not kind. I like that. That's good.
And so then he ends up getting upset because I mean because I'm seasoned, I've already got a daughter that's done that to me once before,
Sure.
and me and the son, are different in terms of he's tough and we don't deal with emotions, but it's one thing I've been trying to work on. And so when he tells me that, it's more just, okay, I got to keep it in my mind to have this be a learning moment,
Right. Yeah.
and like, hey, we don't talk like that, man. And I want him to understand that's a hurtful thing to say.
Sure.
But then once he starts comprehending it's hurtful, now he's upset with
Sure.
himself, and now he's crying, and I'm like, I never said I don't love you. You said you don't love me.
Yeah, this is on you, pal.
turn
I
this
didn't
back
do that.
around on me.
And it's been a deal for the last hour, to be honest with you, and the kid just needs to go to bed.
Yeah, yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
But so yeah, buckle up. I mean, at some point they're gonna look at you. Hopefully, it's when they're young and they don't really understand it. It's not when they're 16 and
Right.
trying to
No
run out the
shit.
door with
Yeah.
a significant other or something.
No
I don't
kidding.
love you, Dad.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah,
I'm not ready for that.
haven't had that one yet. But our oldest, when he gets mad at Allie, he tells her to go to work. Yeah. And so it's
that's
kind of similar, right? Like it's funny, but it's not, right? Because that's obviously not nice. And that's, and we kind of pull that same thing that you do. Allie's a lot better at than I am, but just telling him, that's not kind. Don't say that. That hurts.
Come
right,
on, buddy. That's hurtful.
They don't know any better, but you got to teach them too.
Sure.
At the same time. So, what about you, Bryant?
It's funny. Elsie hasn't told me that she doesn't love me yet, like in those words. Mm-hmm. But what she has done, just within the last 2 weeks, is she's been sick quite a bit over the last month. There have been she's been out of daycare in addition to the holiday and everything. She's been out of daycare like 7 or 8 days this last month. So she had pneumonia, and then she had an upper respiratory infection. And so it's been a problem. But that also means that she spent a lot of time with my wife because Liv works from home. Yeah. And so Liv's been trying to work from home. And I took a couple days off and stayed home with the munchkin. But most of it has been my wife because she is a rock star. But that also means that when when Elsie hasn't been feeling good and she's been home with Liv, she's been talking to Mama nonstop, just 24/7, mama, and when she doesn't feel good, she wants to cuddle, so it's mama, come pick me up. Elsie has started looking me dead in the face, mama.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm gonna fight you, you little monster. Right. This is dada, and this is not mama. This is dada. You said dada before you said mama. That is a personal piece of pride for me.
I know what you're
what
doing
the
here.
hell are you doing right now?
Try this now.
And exactly. And the other morning, she wasn't feeling good, and I got up with her at 4:00 in the morning. And I value my sleep more than I value most things in my life. That is the one thing that I am very adamant about. I have to get sleep, and so 4 a.m. and I do not get along. But I'm up with her. I said, fuck it. She's screaming. Right. She's asking for mama, but Liv's beat. I'm gonna go. And so I go grab her. And she sat there for 2 hours, sitting in my lap, looking me in my face, going, "Mama, mama, mama."
Twist that knife.
I was like, "Oh, I love you so much, but I'm gonna kill you." No, I was so pissed. So yeah,
I wish Mama was here too.
No, I know. Yeah, I wish Mama was here too. But I'm trying to give Mama a break because you've been beating her ass for the last 2 weeks. But yeah, and I've got to say, speaking of Mama, Bliss would be mad at me if I didn't at least mention this. So we all went to a Rotary Christmas party last night at the bowling alley, and when I made eye contact with her, she came running over to berate me for having you on the podcast. Not because she was upset that you were on, but rather that she was upset that she is the podcast person in your household. Absolutely. And why the hell couldn't I have put together a podcast that she's allowed to be on, because she's the one that needs to be on a podcast, not Dave. Dave doesn't care about podcasts. That's not his thing. What the hell? You should have let me on there. I've got all the funny stuff to say. Don't listen to him. And I got 5 minutes worth of a dissertation about it from Bliss. So much so that she was threatening to come with Dave, go sit in the corner and make me set up a Bliss cam.
Oh, that would
to have.
That's a great idea.
Actually, that would be really funny. Actually, to have that superimposed up on the top corner of the screen.
That's not true.
Yeah, do the split screen. And she wanted to correct him. That was actually what she said. She's like, if he tells a story and he tells it his way, he's not lying, but he's also not telling the whole truth. Right. And so, I want to be able to jump in and say, no, that's not the way it went. And so you'll just hear me screaming from the background. But
she will hijack this thing. I mean, you guys won't. You'll lose control. This thing goes off the rails. Viewership probably go up. You might get a sponsor or two. But, you guys are gonna have to loosen the reins and just let go.
So we have joked about the wives wanting to take over. So when we do our where's my mom's at knockoff, and let the moms take over, Bliss will have to be one of the guests.
Special
for
guest,
sure.
Like the Mother's Day session or
exactly
something like that.
Mother's Day out, but Mother's Day in with wine and in the basement. So we'll have to do that at some point, and Bliss is definitely be on the list for that.
That's funny.
But I wanted to make sure and talk about that because she got immediately in my ear last night when we saw each other. It was awesome. I loved it. And I like that she was so excited about it. That's kind of fun too. Yeah. So
there you go, awesome. Bliss. You got a shout out on the show already.
Thanks, Bliss. We love you.
Yeah. Hey, honey.
But Dave.
Hi, Mom.
Oh man, but Dave, no, you Bryant kind of let a dad hack slip that he didn't even know he knew about.
Yeah. So it was my first round dad
I don't know
hack.
if he's going to use that one or use a different one.
I've got a whole nother one.
That's another question that we always ask, all of our guests is what's a good dad hack or what's some good dad advice that you've received or you've given. So what do you got?
Man, so this is a tough one because I am not an emotional guy. I don't think my kids have ever seen a tear come out of my eye. My wife hasn't.
I wish I was that tough.
Me too. I'm a wuss.
I just like to bottle it all up and
crush it in your mind vice. Yeah, I got that. I got that a little bit too. I understand that thought process.
But so when we were living in Kansas City when we were expecting our first child, neither one of our kids were planned, if you'll say.
Sure. You know what causes those, though, right?
I'm getting it dialed in. I think.
I was going to say, your youngest is 5, so you're about due for a third here. Yeah, if you're staying on that same schedule.
Trends. Yeah, exactly. But so most people who know me know this guy's got no emotion. And so I'm working in Kansas City, and one of the guys I'm working with finds out I got a kid on the way, and he goes, Dave, I'm going to pray you have a girl, man, because you need to soften up, you need to show some emotion a little bit. I'm like, Mike, don't do that to me, man.
Don't put that evil on me.
Don't put that on me.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
So we end up having a girl, right? That's our first kid. We end up having a girl, and I will say, she softened me up quite a bit, right? And I didn't really. Growing up, I didn't really think like, man, I'm going to be a dad or I want to have this many kids or anything like that. That really wasn't a factor. Not that I didn't want to, it wasn't something I was thinking about. But coming into it, I start looking at like this is the most important job I'm ever going to have,
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And in this world, and I don't want to get all philosophical or anything, but in this world, we're lacking good, engaged, active dad,
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's not like a specific dad hack at all, but when I get home, I pour into my kids whatever I can,
That's awesome.
Regardless of how tired you are,
sure.
Just stay active with them. You can sleep when they sleep,
Preach.
And yeah, just whatever. They should be sleeping more than you do, so you just catch up when they are. But just stay active, stay involved. That's my advice as a decade vet of being a dad, right?
Yeah. Well, and actually, I was just thinking about that. He is now our most seasoned dad.
Yeah.
Cameron, our first guest, was our initial most seasoned dad, and then Derek technically has got the oldest kid, but he's not been a parent the longest. Right. So I think you are the most seasoned vet of our dad thus far. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I will say, commenting on what you just said, though, I don't think that you have to be emotional to be a good dad, though. Yeah. So I will say, I think that while that might be the way some people do it, I don't think that's the way everybody has to do it. So I would defend you there a little bit, that I think that, you can still pour into your kids. You can still be super involved and not be a weeping mess like I am. So I totally understand that thought process. What about you?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Just spending time with them, and I know I've mentioned this before on here, but when you're with them, give them your full attention. Don't be on your phone. And I know it's so easy to do, and we're all guilty of it, right? And but just try to be conscious of that, and spend as much time with them as you can. You okay there, bud?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
As far as dad hack though, I thought of one today, and
it smells like college in this coffee.
Yeah, and well, can I get some? Can I get some more coffee as well? Thank you. And I don't know how I have not.
Smells like college in this coffee.
Thought of this.
Oh goodness!
Of this dad hack before, being in somewhat of a sales role, right? But Liam, he's gotten to the point where he's kind of picky on like what he wears, right? And so you're like, hey, Liam, you want to wear this shirt? No. Okay, this shirt? No. I'm like, okay, dude, how about this one? Yeah, that one's cool. Okay, there you go. So the other day I was like, well, let's try this. Let's get 3 shirts out. Hey, bud, which shirt you want to wear? This one, this one, this one. Oh, this one. Okay.
Gets rid of the negative.
Let's wear it. Yeah. So my dad hack is don't ask them if they want to like wear something or do something. Give them options.
Let them make the choice.
And let them make the choice. And I'm like, how did I never think of that before? Like, literally, I just started implementing that this past week at home.
I love it.
And it's made a huge difference.
Yeah, the don't ask the yes or no question. Ask the this or that question.
Because kids are the hardest cells in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
Preach.
good night. What about you?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we have all... And I'm going to rip Jim Halpert off with this joke, but like we have all had to at some point or another convince our kids that baby food is better than a boob. So at least to some extent, we have learned how to sell to small children.
And that's a hard sell.
Yeah, no kidding. That is a hard sell. My first dad hack I felt good about, but that was actually just kind of organic based on the nose sucker thing. But
you're welcome for that setup.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. My dad hack this week comes from a viewer.
Okay.
We got a DM from a guy on Instagram, a guy named Mike Stevens, and Mike gave us some really good feedback on the podcast that he really liked it.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike. I mean, seriously, this is great, man. Thank you very much.
You know Mike?
No, not personally. He is a
Great.
completely random person.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I think he's from Canada, actually. Last I checked. So when I
we
went
went international.
we're in Canada, eh? So, but yeah, Mike. So one, we got to figure out what to call our viewers. Because I can't just say like our viewers. Are they decent dads? Are they dadders? Are they decents? We got to think of some kind of name. Shout us out in like social media or in the DMs or in the comments. Give us some ideas. We're trying to think of some. I love that. But Mike's thing was, I'm going to rip it straight off. So did you know that Snoop Dogg made a children's album recently?
No, but I'm there.
Dude,
yeah.
It is called Doggyland. I got to make sure I get it right. Doggyland Kids Hits Volume 1. And 90s kids, like turned millennials, rejoice. I mean, it is awesome.
Really?
It's literally Snoop Dogg doing Wheels on the Bus.
Yeah.
Or Snoop Dogg doing 5 doggies jumping on the bed. Dude, it's
funny.
the greatest stuff ever. And so, and Mike turned us onto it, and we're listening to it this morning in the car ride. Elsie's doing the dance, Wheels on the Bus dance from the back seat to Snoop Dogg. And it is, I don't think I've had a better accomplishment in my dad career until this point. Like, I've got my kid dancing to 90s hip hop. I have joked about how much I like 90s hip hop, and now I've got my kid dancing to Snoop Dogg.
Nice.
Oh, it's just the greatest early 2000s, 90s, whatever.
Right.
But still, like, it's my favorite thing. So yeah, check it out. Doggyland Kids Hits.
Okay.
Volume 1. It's on Spotify, and I think there's even like an animated like YouTube either like channel or like maybe it's on Spotify and other places, but it's definitely on YouTube where it's music videos.
And
they're animated music videos and then the songs that go along with them.
You're saying Volume 1 as if there's another.
I'm hoping that means there's more on the way.
It's going to be like the Now
Okay.
CDs back in the day.
Now that's what I call kids music by Snoop Dogg, Volume 2. Exactly.
Volume 83.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm hoping there's that many of them because I'll have years of material and I won't have to listen to Coco Melon ever again. Because that was actually what Mike said in his DM to us. He's like, his final line was, man, appreciate what you guys are doing. Glad to share this Snoop Dogg and other, because he gave us a couple of other examples as well of other like good kids music that doesn't suck. And he said anything I can do to keep dads from having to deal with Coco Melon and putting a drill into their temple because Coco Melon is the worst.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was super excited about one that we've got folks shouting us out in the DMs and giving us ideas. Yep. Thank you. Please tell us stuff that you want to talk about. We want to know about it. And that Snoop Dogg has a kids album. That's like my favorite thing ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Can we get that as the soundtrack?
So I'm going to see if I can get Snoop to give us the rights. Yeah. We'll see if we can get Snoop to give us the rights.
Yeah. Derek, what's your oldest?
He'll be 3 in February.
All right. Pacifiers? Either of the kids? Pacifiers?
Neither one of our boys were big pacifier boys. Yeah.
No.
They're thumb suckers. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
what
that's what they do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So just as Jeremy, though.
Yeah, and Elsie also did not take a pacifier. No? She went from boob to bottled milk to she had teeth way too early, so she didn't care.
Okay. So both of our kids pacifiers, and I swear I thought Bryn would end up taking hers to prom with her. I didn't think we were ever gonna get that damn thing hang out, you know?
Yeah, I
great.
love it.
And
Just turn it into a necklace. Hang it around the neck.
That's a good idea.
Exactly. So we tried everything, you know, we tried hiding it and we tried, you know, just no, you're not getting it. And everybody just cried the night through,
Sure.
you know. We turned
Everybody.
it into,
Seriously.
and we turned it into, you know, kind of like a giving thing. And we told her about this pacifier, Neverland, you know.
There you go.
And so we turned it into like this ceremony where, okay,
Wow.
so
I like
we
it.
gotta
I
go
like
get
it.
balloons and tie the pacifier to the balloon, you know, and then we're going to let it go. And it goes into some Neverland area where some really needy baby gets this, you know.
Perfect.
Yeah. And,
Perfect.
And so it kind of teaches them that giving mentality, you know,
Yeah.
and looking out. And then it also kind of gives them that large event of, okay, this is
Some
relief.
closure.
You know?
I love that.
So that's a great idea, and it worked, but you got to dump all of them. You got to get rid of all of them. So what I did is I had some cargo shorts that I had laying around the house, you know,
Sure.
and at some point, somewhere, she had tucked a pacifier into one of my cargo
Oh, no.
pockets or something like that, you know. So we're like 8 months after the pacifier's off into Neverland, and I'm wearing the shorts around the house, and she stumbles across it in my, you know, I
no.
mean, she's
digging through
knee-high
pockets.
anyway,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know? And she gets it, and it is total meltdown.
Oh, no.
Got a great video of it. And I mean, she's just sitting there holding it and crying and like, I want my passy back. I want my passy back.
Oh,
You know,
no.
Oh,
I know,
little
it's
sister, that's too
ridiculous,
bad.
You know, so yeah, do the Pacifier Princess.
I really,
Neverland or
really
something
like
I've
that.
never heard that. So
Yeah.
did you tie them to like a legit helium balloon and just send them off?
Well, he got the aviation balloons that go to space.
Oh, yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, the-
Thing's
full
on Jupiter
weather
right
balloon.
now.
Yeah, the weather balloons.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's made of like thick gauge rubber. It's like a
Right.
whole thing. It's really good.
Yeah, environmentally friendly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I saw one parent again. Social media is a blessing and a curse because you know you can get all kinds of really short like dad hack kind of stuff, but also it's the bane of all of our existences. I saw one parent cut the tip off the end of every single one of the pacifiers in their
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Did you guys try that?
I think we did, and I mean, you know, when they start getting teeth, I mean, that's when it's going to be hard to get it away because I just want to like.
Right.
It's just a
Latch-
chewing thing,
latch
not so
down,
much a
yeah.
sucking thing. Sure.
Yeah.
But also, when they get teeth, that's when they start gnawing their way through the dang things, you know. And then you get to that point where, like, you start losing them every now and again. It's like, man, do I go buy more?
Sure.
Like, I mean, she's 3, you know. Like, let's move on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, that was the one thing I was super. I mean, Elsie didn't sleep for a really long time, and so
Yeah.
that was a struggle for us. And she wouldn't take a pacifier past like 3. I mean, I don't think she ever had a pacifier in this house. So 4 months old.
Yeah.
So like once she got to a certain point, even at night, she would just spit them out. Like you'd
Yeah.
pop it in her mouth, and she'd go to sleep with it in her mouth, but then she'd spit it out and it'd be gone
that's
by
a
the end of the
blessing,
night.
man.
But so it was one of those deals where we wish she would have taken them as a comfort thing so that she
Yeah.
would have slept better because she slept like shit for like 13 months.
Yeah.
But now that we're not having to fight taking it away from her, I'm not mad at that at all. So I was trying to think about your kids, and they've got super interesting and unique names. Mm-hmm. I mean, Brennan and Ridge, I love them. I really like your son's name. I think Ridge is freaking awesome. Right. But how do you come by unique names like that? Because those are definitely, I mean, I can tell you I don't know, particularly not with the way you spell your daughter's name with the Y, but not where you think it is. I'm joking. It's right where you think it is.
It starts with a Y.
Exactly.
The first Y is silent.
The first one's silent. But particularly with Ridge, I just think that's a cool, unique name. How did you guys come by those names?
Sure. So I'm very analytical, and everything I do is pretty purposeful, and you know, I've got to drive toward that. So Bryn, so my wife is a unique name as well,
Sure.
right? Bliss. So that same Y sound, we were thinking, okay, how do we
Cool.
keep
I didn't
with
even pick that out,
you
but
know?
yeah, that makes sense.
And my wife is the 3rd daughter within her family, her older sister Brooke, and then Blair, and then Bliss. And then Blair had 2 daughters, Brianna and Bailey. And so we're like, man, we kind of got to
keep the
trend
P's.
here, you know?
Gotta keep the B's going.
So we're like, all right, we gotta come up with a B name. And truth be told, I said, we weren't trying for either one of our kids necessarily. Bryn is like she is the happy coincidence from a really fun St. Patty's Day party in Kansas City, and so we're like, all right, so like Irish, maybe like an Irish name,
sure.
And so
it all comes together. Look at that.
So we kind of like put the B thing, so we're looking for like an Irish name, and then it just worked out, so it's Brennan, and it's great. Couldn't imagine any other name for her, and it worked out really well.
I love that. That's cool.
And so then we had within Bailey and Brianna, who are the nieces, they have a brother named Miles. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we'll go with M's if we ever had a boy.
There you go.
And so we wanted something unique, I'm just like boring old Dave, and I got
boring old Dave.
But you're Big Daddy D. Come on.
Yeah. So I got Bliss and Bryn, and so we're like, all right, what's an M name, and we had decided we were going to name him McCoy. Just because it just seems like kind of like a surname kind of thing. Last name for a first name. And that was the plan if we ever had a boy. So it was going to be McCoy. And then,
God, what a cool name, too. Damn, y'all had some good
McCoy
names.
the boy.
McCoy's good.
Yeah. And so then we find out we've got a boy coming. Like 6 months after we found out my father-in-law had passed away on the farm. And he passed away cattle farming while he was checking on cattle.
Oh, shit.
And he passed away on a part of the farm that I love. It's where I shot my first turkey. It's where I shot my first deer.
Wow.
It's where we probably want to retire and build a cabin on,
Cool.
Super cool place in mid-Missouri. And that part of the farm is called the Ridge. So what we've always called it is the Ridge. So I was like, okay, well, like we kind of have to tie in with his grandpa, So we'll call him McCoy Ridge Schaumburg. And it was going to be that for months. And sometime before he was born, it dawns on me, his initials are going to be
MRS.
Mrs.
Yeah.
MRS,
no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like Johnny Cash, a boy named Sue.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And
Mrs. Schaumburg.
Can't have that.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, let's swap it around.
Yeah.
I mean, we were
So he's Ridge McCoy then?
So it's Ridge
Okay,
McCoy.
okay.
Okay,
Nice.
so you kept the names, just switched shorter.
Yeah, just
Gotcha.
switched it up, So yeah, I mean, take the time, name your kid something really cool.
Sure.
Being an aviation guy, I mean, Top Gun changed my life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it totally
So
changed.
That's still one of my favorites.
So Maverick was going to be another option.
Oh.
Nice.
Top
Sure.
Gun,
You didn't want to go Goose?
No. Incidentally, I do call Brennan Goose sometimes.
That's funny.
I told her, like I'd call her like a silly goose or something like that, and then we just call her Goose for short.
I love it.
But thinking we had to stick with the M names, I thought maybe it'd be Maverick, but we wanted something unique, and Maverick's been done quite a bit, but still a super cool name. If anybody named their kid that's awesome. That or Maximus. That was
So, my name is Maximus Meridius
Right.
from The Gladiator. Yeah, exactly.
I have 23
Schaumburg.
names, yeah.
So, before you told that really, really nice story, I was convinced you were telling the story about the M names, and then I know your son's name is Ridge. I thought you were going to tell us that your son's name was going to be Midge, and I was very confused before you told that really nice story about the Ridge. I'm like, are they going to call their kid Midge? Surely not. Surely I'm missing the part of this story. It's like, never mind. Okay, we're good. He corrected it for me. We're good. Sorry, I don't know. It was just one of those things. I was like, surely they're not going to call him Midge. So we've made a big deal out of like the boy dads and the girl dads, and we had Peebles on, and he's got one of each. You've got one of each. We had a couple of pretty funny stories about finding out the sexes, or like, and how excited some people were, and how not so excited some others were. And you've already hinted a little bit at, like, you didn't really know one way or the other, but that how awesome having a little girl was. Do you have any stories around like finding out the sex or the boy and girl thing or anything like that?
Yeah. So I know a lot of people, they say, I want to keep it a surprise till, and
I couldn't do that. My brain doesn't work that way.
Me neither.
Yeah, and hats off to you if you can do that and you can handle that anticipation, But in my mind, it's going to be a surprise when you're in the doctor's office getting the ultrasound, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know just as much.
You're a brave dude.
before
That's all
that,
I got to say, man. You're a brave man.
But when you're getting the ultrasound, I mean, it's a surprise at that point too,
Sure.
So we wanted to know because we didn't plan for either one of the kids. So we wanted to know so we could start making some plans, right?
Sure. Right, yeah.
And picking out a name, painting the colors of the walls and stuff like that, And we really kind of had in our head with our first one, we wanted I just wanted a son, right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to have a kid. And so we end up in the, I don't know what that room is where you're getting the ultrasound and checking the heart rate and stuff like that of the kid. And to this day, I still can't tell what that picture is, right?
No, of course not.
I can't make that out.
You need the
at all.
ultrasound tech to draw the circle. Hey, it's a boy. That kind of thing.
Yeah. So we kind of had it in our hearts. This is going to be a boy. His grandpa really wanted another grandson, as a guy that had 3 daughters and no sons.
Sure.
And, so he really wanted another grandson. And so we're in the room. My wife's laid out there with her belly hanging out, and they're moving this thing around, and they're like, well, you guys want to know what it is? I'm like, well, yeah, we're not going to wait. Yeah. What is it? And they're like, well, it looks like you guys are having a girl. And I'm like, it kind of hit me a little bit like, oh, this is real, like I'm getting outnumbered here and I'm going to be the lone man here in the house.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, that's true.
And I look over at my wife, and I honestly, and I think to this day, if she was sitting over here in the chair,
and on the Bliss cam,
right? Yeah, she would agree that like it wasn't something that like I imposed on her. Like you really let me down because really it's the guys. The guy's the one that makes that determination.
Yeah, we're bringing the correct chromosomes to that whole thing, right?
So I look over at her and she's getting teary eyed. And I'm like, man, I cannot have a meltdown right here.
No.
And I'm like, hey, it's all right, babe, it's all right, and like I'm consoling her because we're having a girl, right? But I'm trying to be excited.
That's tough.
And she's not making the turn, right? And it's getting worse, and she's getting red in the face, and I'm like, I gotta break this up, And then the doctor, the technician, is like, well, do you guys have any questions? I'm like, well, like, how certain are you, like, And she's like, well, we don't call it 100 until the baby's out. But you're like 99%, like I'm like, so like
We're all but
this
there.
Kid's hung like a bear and we can see it. I'm just kidding. No.
And she's like, you can paint the walls pink. You're fine, I'm like, all right. And I'm looking over at Bliss and not getting any better, and I'm like trying to lean into it a little bit. And I'm like, well, can you show me what we're talking about? And she's like, okay, fine. Like, let's dig into this. And she zooms in and she goes, all right, you see these 3 folds right here? So that's the labia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, that's
pretty definitive.
Got it locked in, right?
Yeah, that's pretty definitive.
And she's like starting to button stuff up, and Bliss is like, tears are rolling down her face, and I'm like, I gotta say this. And I'm like, all right, just one last question. Bear with me. What's a labia? and Bliss knows me. She knows like I'm just messing around, but I'm just trying to break the tension. And she's like, just get out of it. Like, just we're done here. We got what we need. Right?
Is my favorite response to that. That is awesome,
just walk
Dave.
me through this. What's a labia?
It's my first time.
If Brandon watches it, she's
That's hysterical.
We all let her watch.
Oh, that is. So it's funny you say that because, I was convinced I was going to have a girl. My entire family was convinced. I come from a long series of dudes. It was inevitable that I was going to have a girl. And it's funny you say that, like, she zoomed in and, like, now this is the labia, because one of the, like, she did some zooming and twisting and gomming, and then it was, well, here's her head. And then we call our daughter Turtle because one of the very first, like, pictures that they gave us from the ultrasound doesn't look like a kid. It looks like a turtle.
Yeah.
There's like a little thing that poking out that looks like a head, and then it was just kind of a lump, and that looked like the shell, and so that's why we call it a turtle.
Okay.
But that we have a very distinct picture of what looks like a woman sitting on a photocopier. And it's just those three folds like you're talking about, and it's exactly what it looks like. Yeah. And the tech was funny. The sonogram tech was funny. Sonogram? Is that right?
Yeah. Sounds right. Yeah. We'll go with it.
The tech was funny, and she just circled that. She just circled the labia because, I mean, it was just as clear as day.
Yeah.
Circled it. It's a girl. It's like, no shit.
I can see that.
Yeah. I'm an insurance agent, not a doctor, but I can pick that one out. Thank you very much. That's super helpful. But yeah, that's funny because it was like it did. And that was the joke that Liv and I had for a while, is it looked like somebody had sat our daughter on a photocopier. Yeah. And it was just like, you see the butt cheeks on there, but no, it was just her little her little lady parts. So yeah, it was just like, oh my God, this is wild. Yeah. And it was, again, you didn't know for certain, but like 99.5% that's what that
isn't
was.
Changing.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. So
that was like with Liam. Our gender reveal party was at the sonogram thing. Like our family came.
That's
really?
awesome. That's great.
Well, we did it. We didn't do it like at the hospital. We did it at this other place. I'm like, where are you going? And so our family came there, and I don't know if you know Connor O'Mealy. He was on the show, and he's one of my good friends, so he came there too. And like every dad, right, first kid, you want him to be the boy. Mm-hmm. I just think that's how guys are programmed.
Ran out of coffee.
And so I was wanting a boy so bad that I was like, there's no way in heck that I'm going to get a boy on the first one.
No. If you wanted it, it's not going to happen.
I know it's going to be a girl. Like, I was set. I was fully preparing myself that it was going to be a girl. And so they're doing the ultrasound sonogram thing. And they go across his manhood, and unlike you guys, I do know what balls and a penis looks like. And so I
love it when he talks shit. It makes me so happy.
And so, like, she went across it, and I was like, yeah, that looks like balls and a penis. But
is he packing?
But
he's packing. He looks like he's packing.
I'm still like in disbelief. I'm like, no. I was like,
a bear.
I was like, no, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, I'm just trying to convince myself that I don't know what I'm looking at. Right?
Yeah, that's just an arm.
And I look at Connor, and Connor just has his hands up like this, and I'm like, no way. And he's like, yes, just fist pumping, the whole time.
So excited.
And I'm like, no way. And so then she goes over, the balls and the penis again, and she's like, well, guys, it's a boy. And I'm still in denial. Like, I'm just like, no, like, there's no way I'm this lucky the first time around, right? And everybody's like so happy and stuff, and I'm just like sitting there like Dave was saying, like, no emotion. Like, I'm like, no way. And I just look at the nurse lady. I'm like, can you please check that again? Like, dead as like serious as can be. And Allie's like,
before I get all cocky here.
Yeah. Well, no, but Allie's like,
my son's a little cocky.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Allie's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I just want her to check it again. I don't believe her.
I think she's wrong.
It's the tone that was coming across in my voice, right? She checked again. She's like, no, sir. She's like, yep, there's 2 balls and 1 penis right there.
2 balls and 1 penis. Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, sold.
Nice.
So that was my gender reveal story there.
Oh, that's so funny though.
Yeah, I don't know. I was probably in denial for like a couple of days, like before it really sank in that I was having a boy.
Oh, sure. Well, and it's funny because I hadn't thought about that story in a while, and that's why I love this podcast, because it gives me a chance to think about those kind of things. Because the second you said that, I was like, holy crap, I didn't think about that. I haven't thought about that moment for. I mean, Elsie's 18 months old, and we did the ultrasound 7 months into or 7 months prior to Elsie being born. So it's been forever since I thought about that. Yeah. So thank you. That was a nice little trip down.
Great job,
weird,
Dave.
Weird job. Babysitting on a photocopier memory lane.
Right?
I feel like the Medicare or the medical professionals, they don't like me coming back again. So when we had the delivery, so we had kind of like I think I've heard on the pod, you guys did, when you and Liv, you guys like had an emergency C-section or something
we did.
like that. So we kind of did the same
Liv
thing.
did. I was there, but Liv did it.
So and that was a tough moment for us because we kind of did the same thing, and Bliss pushed for quite a while. But anyway, we ended up staying in the hospital for a while, and so when we're leaving the hospital, they want to make sure that, and this was in Kansas City, they want to make sure you know how to hook the baby into the car seat and everything, and then they wheel Bliss down in a wheelchair to the car.
Sure.
And then they want to have you see or show them that you can install the car seat in the car, right? And
I fly a plane, so I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to do this.
So they're getting us set up, and so Bliss is kind of emotional at this point. She kind of dealt with like a little postpartum. You guys had somebody else that was.
We did. Connor
about
talked about that. They struggled with that,
and I appreciate him talking about that because Bliss wasn't as bad as what he was saying, but I mean there was some like detachment there for the two of them. So
it's
again,
tough.
I'm trying to like lighten the mood a little bit, So when the nurses are like, okay, well, we have to walk you down and have you install the car seat in the car, and I'm like, and so Brynt was born in November, and this is in Kansas City, and I'm like, man, I got to break the tension here, and so I just look at the nurse, stone face. I'm like, so I brought the motorcycle.
November in Kansas City, and I brought the motorcycle.
I don't even own
in a snowstorm.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. How perfect is that?
Yeah, just trying to get Bliss to lighten up a little bit for the ride home.
Sure.
And Bliss, like everywhere she goes, she apologizes for me anyway, right? And I'm like, I'm kidding. I don't even own a motorcycle. And so we get down to the lobby, and I'm like, okay, well, I think I can get it from here. And she's like, no, I need to see you install it in the base. And Bliss is getting emotional again, and I kind of like look over. I'm like, what base? What are you talking about? Just like totally dumb, like, And Bliss like, Dave, quit. They will not let us take this baby home if you're gonna keep.
They're gonna report us.
You need to take this seriously. And there's a base in there, But honestly, I mean, that ride home, that at least with the
white
first
knuckle.
one. Holy shit!
Yeah, I was white knuckle.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm like old man in it, and I'm yelling at people, slow down, like I got a kid here, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure I drove home with my flashers on.
Right.
I'm
Do
going.
we not get a police escort?
Yeah, I'm going 25,
Right.
hands at 10 and 2, and
It's
I'm
the most cautious you've ever been driving,
100%.
right? Yeah.
Well, and we lived like Elsie was born at Mercy, and we lived just like
So you got
a
like
stone's
3 turns
throw away.
to get home.
Right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a
most
no-brainer.
scary 3
but still,
turns
I was
ever.
scared to freaking death about those 3 turns and how bad that was going to be.
Yeah.
No, that's good, though. That's tough. I mean,
So after you brought her home and whatnot, I'm assuming she made it home safely without the car seat base and whatnot. On the motorcycle. You probably had to change a few diapers.
Yeah.
During that time. So did you have any good experiences diaper changing?
Yeah. So Bryn was like a little too much on like pissing on me, right?
I had one of those.
I mean, it was like everywhere we went. Like if I'm carrying her on my hip or something like that, like not like a blowout, like with shit in her pants,
Sure.
But I mean, it's like pee coming out, and
Heavy peer.
Yeah, you're in public, right? And I mean, it's just a badge of honor as a dad.
Of course,
is what
right?
You got
the
there,
dad
right?
badge of honor. That's right.
Yeah. So Bryn was pretty bad about that. I do remember changing her diaper when she was first couple months or so, you know, and so we had her in the room. We're like oogling over this little thing that we created, you know.
It's pretty freaking cool, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Those first several bits, pretty freaking cool.
And you got the diaper open, you know, and Bliss honestly is like teaching me how to do this.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know,
Sure.
and,
That's every dad. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, and like the swaddling the baby, you know, like I couldn't get that figured out. I mean, she's Houdini, she's getting out of it, you know. But I remember Bliss like teaching me how to change the diaper, and she's got this thing open, you know, and Bryn just lets out this sneeze, right?
Oh gosh.
And just boom. And we're both standing there, but fortunately Bliss is like looking more down the barrel than I am.
No.
Right? You know, so just right in the chest. I mean, I'm literally cleaning shit off the curtains. You know?
Oh, that is my favorite.
And it happens, and you're just like, man, like, I mean, this is what we're in for, right? You know, I mean,
welcome to
yeah,
parenthood.
we're gonna be cleaning this up, you know, and on the walls.
I love
and,
that
you
looking down the barrel is
Right.
such a strong analogy. Looking down the barrel.
That's exactly right, you know. And I'm looking at it like,
Oh.
I'm not up for this, you know.
Right.
I mean, but you can handle these, right?
Yeah, right. For real, man. I thought I had a good blowout story, but that tops anyone I've ever heard.
Oh, that's so good.
Did you guys have the kids throw up in public at all?
No. Not in public.
Public.
Not in public, no.
Yeah.
Just like in a car ride. The
Yeah.
first hour of a 12-hour car ride.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we were heading to Gulf Shores, and I was gonna Ironman the trip overnight, slam some Monster Energy drinks, you know. So we're meeting at like 9 o'clock to have dinner, and then I'm gonna let everybody sleep in the truck on the way down. And this is when we still have Bryn facing backwards, and so she, and this isn't the story I was gonna tell, but because you talked about that, about your trip, so she's facing backwards, and right when we pull up to this Mexican restaurant to have dinner, she just fills the
Lets it
car seat
fly.
up,
Yeah.
you know, like the truck's packed, like we're ready to go. And I'm like, what do we do here? You know, like all night I'm going to deal with this, you know. So
Smell that. Yeah.
that thing went in the dumpster, you know, and we just bought a new one.
Are you
know?
serious?
This is a bust, you know, and this is not
no good.
There's no time. We're starting over.
Yeah.
Reset.
Yeah. So Bryn's 10 now, and
This is
we,
a bust.
You're right. Can't use that anymore.
yeah, we joke about this, and she's open about this. So we're living in Texas at the time. So Bryn's probably 3 or 4. Christmas time, we're at the mall, right? Standing in line to see Santa in the mall, old school style.
Perfect.
And Bryn was kind of feeling a little icky, you know, but anyway, Bliss is holding her, just kind of like trying to console her because she's not feeling the greatest. But we're like, and this is pre-COVID, so like this sounds really weird, like you're gonna take a sick kid to the mall, but we all did that before.
Sure.
COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Got to get that picture.
Yeah,
The world
yeah.
has certainly changed.
So Bliss holding her, just like trying to calm her down, like she's maybe just a little tired or something like that, you know. And next thing you know, Bryn just fills up Bliss like low cut shirt with Fruity Pebbles, right? And
I love that we've got the
Cut-
specific cereal.
Right? Yeah.
Colorful and all.
yeah. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, I mean, we're here to see Santa, you know, we're in line with everybody else.
No
you know?
turning back now.
Yeah. and so she just like unloads right there, and then like I freeze because I'm like I'm not prepared for this. I don't know
Right?
where we're going, how we overcome this. And Bryn just looks at me because she's got it like on her too, and she just goes, "I don't want this on me." And I'm like, "I bet your mom doesn't either." Like, and so
I definitely don't.
yeah, so Bliss is like, "Here, take her," and I'm like, "I don't know what
I don't even know what the fix is for that. Like, what do you do there?
So like I'm like holding this kid, and I'm like, where's the bathroom? Anybody know where the bathroom is? And somebody points me, and it's like a quarter mile away.
Of course
right?
it is. Of
So I'm
course
like,
it is.
Like high stepping it, trying to get to the bathroom because she's wailing, you know. And we get about halfway there, and she goes again, you know. And so like, I've just got like this like trail of me running through the mall, and I get like to the outside of the bathroom, and like there's somebody coming out who's just like got done cleaning the bathroom, and I'm like, I need to like.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I gotta like. She threw up, and he's like, where? And I'm like from here to Santa. There's puke.
Head that way.
Like all the way. You're gonna run into a pissed off mom about halfway. And that's like the stuff you deal with as a parent, right? Like, I mean, who else is gonna deal with this? So strip her down and wrap her in some like paper towels from the bathroom, and you go home and hope you don't have to clean the car.
Right. It's amazing how becoming responsible for somebody like
no
some
picture
other
with
person.
Santa.
No picture with Santa that go around. No.
Yeah, I bet not.
Parenthood is so funny, man. You think you have it figured out, and then they do something like that. And I've been in that situation so many times where I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, like, what's the move?
I don't
here?
know. Yeah. And sure enough, the moms they always know what to do.
Yeah,
but,
well, we've talked about that before.
But,
like,
but the guys, you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't in any handbook at all.
Right? Yeah, where's that?
Yeah, you can read as much as you want, but you're covered in vomit and you're in the middle of a gigantic mall. What do? That's not written in any book.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your opportunity to write a book. That's how you make your millions, Dave.
Right.
Is how to deal with every sick situation that your kid's going to be in.
Fly planes and write books.
That's exactly
There you
right.
go. You got it, man.
So, got to do our dad jokes. We're getting pretty close on time, so we should probably get to the dad jokes. You have a. I don't want to make our guest go first, just in case he's got a really, really good one. What do you got this week?
I'll warm up the crowd.
There you go. Get him set up, would you?
Yeah. Well, Bryant, I don't know, Dave, if you know, but my wife's a wedding planner, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about weddings. We talk about weddings all the time. She has a wedding or two a week. And so again, we're talking about it, basically every night. And this question came up whenever I was talking to her, and I was like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, but I was like, why do melons have such big weddings?
Why do?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, she couldn't come up with a good answer, so I was like, well, I'll ask the guys. Why do melons have such big weddings?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm lost, man. No,
because the cantaloupe.
Good grief. Good grief. Yeah. These dad jokes are tough. Dad jokes are just tough.
Yeah.
It takes a special breed.
Right? So what do you got, Dave? You got a dad joke? I like that he doesn't even have to refer to his notes. He's just got one floating around in his head. I like this.
Right. Yeah, I keep them all up in the database.
Attaboy.
You guys,
We've talked about the database before.
If only somebody had a shirt.
Yeah.
He has a shirt that says database on it. Yeah.
So aviation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So talking about what your wife does, I get a lot of questions about just how the airport's doing, how the future of aviation, drones and electric vehicles, and how we're handling that,
Sure.
And I get some questions about, do you think we'll ever have invisible planes? Is that something? We got the stealth planes,
Yeah,
sure.
We're going to see
like a true invisible plane.
We're gonna get invisible planes, And I mean, honestly, I just can't see them taking off.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. That's good.
You guys put that one in your
Yeah, it's
database.
perfect. Yeah.
We'll rip that off a couple episodes from now.
See, that's how you tell a story right there, folks. Well, so I'm an insurance agent. All I do is I'm on the phone and I'm on emails, and that's just all I do all day long. I send emails and take phone calls. And so I got an email today, actually, that was explaining, because I'm also an Eagle Scout, and so I get on all these weird like email lists and stuff, and I get a bunch of weird emails, but this one was explaining how to read maps backwards. It was spam.
Got it.
You're welcome, Chaney.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That one was for you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he told that one, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to all the folks that have been watching. We appreciate. I mentioned it earlier, but we've had a couple of people reaching out to us in the DMs, giving us ideas, giving us stories, giving us their own dad hacks, giving us Snoop Dogg and Doggyland Greatest Hits Volume 1. Really love that. So please check us out on all the different social media channels. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the social media stuff, both on YouTube and Spotify. I promise I am working on trying to figure out how to get us on Apple Podcasts. I have to Apple iPod, showing my age there. Trying to get on Apple Podcasts. It's proving to be more difficult than I wanted it to be. But without further ado, I think this was a great one. So, hey, way to go, Decent Dad. All nice work.
Yeah, appreciate
Great
it,
job,
guys.
Dave.
Yeah.
And I realized I missed you on the last one. So, way to go, Decent Dad. Hey,
I don't take it personally.
So, thanks very much. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
I just got shit on before a Rotary meeting. I was changing her diaper in my clothes as I was ready to leave.
Yeah.
And I just
didn't handle the diaper appropriately.
No. Again, looking down the barrel, I normally change her from the side. But for whatever reason, that day we were trying to get
position.
her right. No, she'll shit on like you said, the curtains as opposed to Dad. But and it just right on my shirt. God, and so it's like
places to go.
I got shit to do, literally.